today's Twitter Spaces, we'll be talking about how and where we can save taxes and our investments, which should be planned to assist us in reaching both objectives of investments at this time, same time, tax savings. Now, before we get into the concepts of tax savings, let's kind of have some broad macro understanding about when and how tax savings are encouraged by the government. So these are, I mean, no government would want to just dole out monies in form of tax rebates. There are broad reasons why there are specific areas where the governments are ready to kind of provide tax savings. Example, they might want to kind of encourage some healthy spendings. Could be example, getting your kids to go to the school or encouraging risk management habits with their citizens, like taking insurances or building up capital or retirement kitties. That's where, let's say, the long term investments kick in. Or they might want to encourage things associated with just helping people get onto the investment ladders. So, whatever the reason is, I mean, one must try to align their personal finance requirements and, as a byproduct of it, get tax advantages. Most of the time, when we talk to people, we realize that it is just a knee jerk reaction to save some taxes. Our approach towards tax saving is generally associated with think broader, start with what your long term requirements are, and based upon that, choose products which could not only suit those long term requirements, but in the interim, just tactically for this year, is saving tax as well. So there are today we are predominantly going to focus on areas which are most commonly used for tax saving. We'll not kind of go across the entire spectrum of Income Tax Act, but we'll today talk predominantly on only broad areas of tax savings. One which is very commonly looked and by the investors or tax savers is the 1.5 lakhs tax rebate, which is provided to the citizens of the country, not the citizens, the residents of the country, which is under Section 80C of Income Tax Act. We'll talk about the medical insurance and the retirement related tax savings as well. So let's first start with the 80C related investment. Now, it's a mixed bag. Most of the people are not aware about the areas where they have investment. Most of the people think it's only insurances or some kind of investments which provide you tax saving. But let's start with broad objective around 80C. Now, Government of India wants everyone to have a roughly around 1.5 lakhs worth of corpus through which they can encourage healthy spendings. At the same time, it results in encouragement to them to save some taxes. Now, Section 80C of Income Tax Act is a very, very interesting section. Over here, there are multiple reasons or multiple objectives by which you can enhance your personal finance requirements. At the same time, also save taxes. So, broad category over here are predominantly four. The first one is encouraging some basic healthy spending by the people of the country. Now, these include school fees paid for the kids. Technically, using the words, the tuition fees of your kids, up to two kids. Now, example, these days the school fees could range from anywhere from 500 rupees per month, and they could be even as high as like 1 lakh rupees per month, depending upon what type of school a child goes. All what is required is the tuition fees part of that component can be claimed as a tax rebate. Now, for example, if your child's monthly school fees, tuition fees is roughly 10,000 per month, then 10,000 into 12, 1.2 lakhs per year can be claimed as exemption towards the 1.5 lakhs limit. Another healthy limit expenses or healthy spending encouragement which the government gives is when you buy a home, any cost paid towards stamp duty or registration cost of the home can also be claimed under this section. Um, to give an example, let's say you go ahead and buy a 30 lakhs worth of property, and on that 30 lakhs property, let's say assume that someone paid around grossly, let's say 5% uh, stamp duty come registration total. Then around 1.5 lakhs what you paid over there can straight away be used here. So if you see, just these two elements can take care of the entire amount. The recurring one being the school fees of the child. So this category under ATC was predominantly good spending, which the government wants to encourage. The second one, which the government wants to encourage, is people should have some basic life insurance covers. Now, life insurance, from my personal experience, is a very much a push product in India. Very few people would want to kind of take insurance on their life because no one wants to assume that there would be a day when they wouldn't be there. But uh, while a particular person is building up wealth capital for themselves, um, the term insurance or the life insurance component is quite healthy. It encourages that just in a scenario where a person dies, the term cover premium, the term cover payouts would be able to bridge the gap which a family would need in case the breadwinner dies. Now, a very healthy personal finance requirements, but rarely people want to kind of take it. To encourage again this particular habit, the government says that if you have an insurance for which you end up making payments of insurance premiums, then up to 1.5 lakhs as well could be covered here. Now, the third component is encouraging long-term investment decisions. Now, over here, there are two types of investments which the government encourages under the ATC. One is a fixed interest component. Another is a equity centric investments. So the fixed component investments could be predominantly, let's say, investment in their specific tax saving fixed deposits of 5 years duration. There are national savings certificates that are commonly called NSCs, which where you can invest in uh, the Public Provident Fund, or PPF, which anyone can open. It has got a 15-year lock-in. Over there, the amount could any investment in that is exempt as well. Not exempt. The rebate can be claimed. If for salaried employees, their own contribution towards Provident Fund, which generally tends to be 12% of the basic salary, also gets covered there. Sukanya Samriddhi scheme for daughters can be claimed, the payment made against that. Along with, if people have entered into long-term endowment-related insurance products, those premiums are also covered. So this is predominantly the investment basket where there would be no market movements, but more like a fixed interest or fixed return products. Uh, the other part is the equity one. So as we would understand and appreciate, the fixed components would generally be between giving you returns between 6.5 to as high as 8%. Equity, if you want to kind of want higher return on your investments, the government provides you a few more investment options to consider. The first one is investing in mutual funds, which are equity linked savings schemes. They are colloquially also spoken as tax saving mutual funds. Here, the locking period is 3 years. There's no minimum or maximum amount. You can invest as much as you want, but yes, you'll get only 1.5 lakhs worth rebate. Other is I don't want to encourage these investments, but insurances where the money is invested in equities, or commonly called as ULIPs, unit linked insurance plans. These are also equity oriented investments. And perhaps last one I could think of is investing in national pension schemes, NPS, where the money can be allocated towards equity within the allowed range. So if you see within the investment part, you have options of fixed components, fixed interest components, or equity components. The last one, which is worth mentioning, is if people have home loan, the principal component paid during the year via, let's say, a prepayment or the principal component of your EMI, that amount can also be utilized under the overall limit. At times, people do a common mistake. They try to kind of take uh, all of these options, and in the end, forgetting that the total eligibility of all these options, which I told you so far, in total is 1.5 lakhs. So, example, like you could be in a situation where you are paying school fees for your children. Well, let's say it's 1.2 lakhs is already covered, as we spoke about, and you're also employed where, let's say, your own component of PF each month maybe 5,000, if I would take that example, then 60,000 is covered there. You basically, in that situation, you don't even need to plan anymore because your PF and your child's school fees might be taking care of the entire amount. Now, anything over and above, you may want to do it, but don't do it for the sake of tax saving. It's important to know that what options are available, because another thing which happens with tax saving investments, predominantly they are long durations and they have a relative lock-in periods. I'll give you some examples. The mutual fund DLSS has got a 3-year lock-in. The NPS is the lock-in is right up to your retirement age. ULIPs have got a minimum 5-year durations. If you end up into an endowment related insurance product, or the traditional insurance products, the lock-in are as high as the period which you have taken. Fixed deposits have 5 years. So PPF has got 15 years and so on. So please do not enter into or overcommit into a product just because you want a tax saving. Do your long-term mathematics and see how much do you think you need over a period of time, and avoid getting locked into long duration products which could impact your future ability to continue in those products. Now, this one was predominantly the 1.5 lakhs. Over and above 1.5 lakhs, people also have an opportunity to say additional 50,000 via the contributions into the national pension scheme. So NPS, 50,000 extra. So it is, to reiterate, it is over and above the 1.5 lakhs. The government wants to encourage people to save towards their retirement. So they have provided additional 50,000 per year towards investment into NPS. Whether it's a good or bad from an NPS perspective, that's a out of scope question for today's topic. Maybe we can cover NPS in a separate spaces. But it's important to note that over and above 1.5, you have another 50,000 in NPS here. So if we total, we are talking about 1.5 plus 1 plus 50,000, 2 lakhs is covered till here. Another very important deduction which is available for people is towards paying insurance premiums for health insurance or medical insurance. If most of the people, this particular part is not utilized at all, because for some good reason people don't end up taking their standalone insurances, medical insurances or health insurances. Here the exemptions available are, if for your immediate family, which is yourself or your spouse and your up to 2 kids, the a person is eligible to claim up to 25,000 per year. So let's say if you've taken in a health insurance plan for your family members and the premium is 20,000, you can claim 20,000. If you have got, if the premium is 30,000, you'll be able to claim up to 25,000 for this particular section. To also encourage people to take care of their parents and senior citizens, and appreciating that the premiums for senior citizens are expensive, the government has also provided us another exemption or another kind of limit in the same section of medical insurance, where if a person takes insurance for their parents, they get extra 25,000 of tax rebate. If the parent are aged over 60 years, or in other words, they are senior citizens, they get, instead of 25,000, the available limit is 50,000, because the premiums for, as you get older, the premiums are higher, and hence 25,000 limit for parents may not be able to cover the overall insurance premium cost. So to encourage those, or to subsidize a bit of those extra premiums, the government increases the available rebate under ATD for parents if they're senior citizens to 50,000. To summarize, 25,000 for your immediate family, for your parents, additional 25,000 if they're less than 60. If they're more than 60, it is 50,000. So ATD rebate, if assuming your parents are above 60, the total rebate under ATD, which is a medical insurance rebate, is 25 plus 50, total 75. So these broadly cover most of the available investment related or insurance related rebates which a person has access to. I'll summarize: 1.5 lakhs under ATC total, another 50,000 under NPS for 50k. That makes it 2 lakh. And if you are able to claim for medical insurances as well, you get additional up to 75,000. So you have up to 2.75 lakhs worth of medical of these rebates available at your disposal. A few things. Hence, if you are if you can see, none of these items are something which you should plan for the last minute. Most of these items are something you can plan very much well in advance. So our sincere request to all of our clients and investor community tends to be, please plan in advance. You don't need to wait for the whole year. You can do it as soon as April kicks in. For example, if 1.5 lakhs worth of money has to be invested towards the tax rebate, why not? It's not an investment advice, but why not, as an example, take invest 12,500 per month into an equity linked investment scheme, or put the each month, so that makes a 1.5 lakhs. Or if you are a person who wants to invest in PPF, why not in April, May, June itself put the whole amount there rather than waiting till the last minute? Waiting till the last minute month or the last minute, either you'll end up foregoing it because you could not prioritize it, or the decision might be half baked, and you might end up entering into those long-term invest insurance contracts which are very nicely marketed during this time of the year onwards. And little would you know that once you have entered into that contract, your liability to pay those premiums will be for the duration of the premium payment term. So plan in advance. You don't need to wait till the last minute, and avoid over investing or over committing yourself. As I told you, there are so many options available. In many cases, you might realize that you might be materially covering your requirements via the expenses which you do anyways. If there's anything, any gap which is remaining, rather than committing yourself into long-term contracts, maybe have into flexible products like investing into mutual funds or via the PPF options or so on. So at this point of time, this is all what I would want to cover for the tax saving options. We could perhaps open for any questions which the listeners might have. I'll open the queue. Uh, if you have any questions, please could you ask them now?